Let the old guy up? This guy in the States had just called me old. Oh, I got let up. All right, here we go. Hey guys, what's up?
Hello.
So I'm just curious, right? A few things. Number one, I used to be a high com here. Have fun. So question, right? Um, what is it? What was the word I was gonna say? Um, do you think the developers were justified in being angry?
The developers were justified in being angry. I wouldn't say their approach to it was.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And what's the what is your response to people calling your changes corporate slop?
Well, of course, they might be able to they might think that from a public perspective, and since they don't exactly know us just yet, but they'll see soon
Uh-huh.
time that we're not trying to corporatize the game in whatsoever. So.
And your deletion of Nooblord's rules message stirred up quite a bit of anger amongst. I think that was what actually kicked off Void raiding the server. Believe it or not. What's
Yeah, that was just misunderstood. It wasn't. But
um
the people that deleted it weren't familiar with how close people was with Noob at the time.
uh-huh. And what about the years of history in this server got deleted? Any plans on honoring any of the old people that worked for the group?
Yeah, I mean, if people obviously want the old feel to the servers and whatnot, and care to elaborate on the full definitive story of the lore and whatnot, we can definitely honour that. That's what we intend to do. We don't want to just completely wipe out all the culture that this community's had and built. So.
Our initial plan was to keep everything the same within the server.
And this is
until it got nuked.
This is a question for Dumbledore.
We're,
This is something
we're currently having. We are currently trying to rebuild the server using screenshots and videos that members have actually sent us of the former server. So we are trying to rebuild it the exact same way it was. However, there will be a few slight changes due to not having the actual images to be able to back it up.
And I'm just curious. This is something that I keep seeing circulated around. Dumbledore, this is for you. What was the deal behind you telling an artist that apparently they had to pay 1.5 thousand USD to get their art removed?
That was not me.
Oh,
that was not me. That was another member of the trusted team.
Of course. And what affiliation do they have?
Yeah, basically, they were being sarcastic when they were saying that. They were being sarcastic when they said that comment, but obviously, the people that received it mistook it and thought it was being serious.
Of course. Such a tragic misunderstanding.
Trying to clear that up caused me so much stress.
And assets that are made by people in the TCU, do you think that belongs to them or to you?
Assets are completely different, Matt.
So. The actual assets and models belong to TCU because they were created by developers.
And they were paid to do that, so it's entirely owned by TCU.
Exactly. However, as my announcement stated earlier, art and that's been added. If members come to me saying they want it removed and they have proof that they were the original creators, I will remove it. It is their creation. Unless they were directly paid, we do not technically own the rights, they do. The few people who have already contacted me, I am in the process of removing all their art.
And this is just from my point of view, because I'm only used to the most hated individuals of our group doing this. But what's the deal with all your staff using grammar all the time? I'm just curious from a cultural standpoint.
I'll explain this one since
I've been doing it for a very long time due to the way I was trained in TGE back when I first joined that group with Blueprint.
So you train Discord.
As for the rest, yeah, I was trained to do it. As for the
rest, a lot of it's just formal behaviour, which is why a lot of this corporate slop thing's being thrown around. It's just a habit. It doesn't mean anything.
And I guess my only concern is that if you wanted to keep it
obviously group the same, going back obviously to me, where I am obviously the director of moderation.
Right.
We plan on keeping everything to do with the group the same.
I guess my only issue with
That
that
goes
is the
for
fact that
division. That goes with divisions, ministries, high com structure, and all that. We do plan on trying to keep it as much as the same as it was before. But obviously, we need your guys to talk to us about it, send us whatever you can to ensure that we can get everything back to the way it was, rather than having to restart and try it the best we can.
and other thing. I've seen about a good 20 bans from people asking you cryptid questions. And I also saw almost contradictively the fact that you were trying to clear up these things with people, which is interesting to me because it seems honorable to some degree. But what was the deal with people being banned otherwise for asking questions previously and then the switch up on that policy?
What type of questions and what kind of policy?
I think I saw a few of people asking a few groomed people.
If I what?
If you groomed people?
No, exactly. Do you want me to respond to that?
Honestly
Obviously, I
speaking,
didn't.
and this is just a suggestion from what I've learned personally. Usually avoiding makes them think you're more guilty, if you hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, but then also by getting involved, some people might see that as getting too defensive over something that's not true. So
I think I prefer.
what I'd
Most of
like,
the
what
bans
I'd
that
like to say
happen,
is show me the proof, and then we can talk about it.
Of course, that is a very admirable policy for you to have. Um, hmm. And do you think TCU will ever be able to
Anyone can
contend
make
with?
rumors.
One more time. Anyway, do you ever think TCU will be able to contend with foreign groups as it could before again or no?
Yep.
Wait, hold on. Let me quickly answer that one. So, Cryptic, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, so right now I'm working on redoing the mission friend at first. So I'm currently handling that with someone. So you guys will see more announcements when we do like all this ally stuff. But you can feel free to DM me and I'll just answer your DMs and stuff. Figure
Oh
it out.
yes, I would love to DM you. Yes.
Alright.
Um, you said your policy was regarding what foreign work? You're going to be reviving foreign policy. How? Because currently, from what I've heard in Buns, they're not too satisfied with the change, and they're more apt to working with the those who
You
shall not be named.
elaborate on what you mean.
How do you plan on getting Buns on the side of TCU rather than TRC? Because from what I've heard, around 65% plus of Buns is siding with them.
Have they stated why they're siding with them?
One more time.
Because before we figure out that, I said, have they specified why they prefer them? Because if not, then how are we expected to show their opinion other than trust and action?
I believe the sentiment derives from the fact that they are overall the OG community.
But if they're not willing to listen to what we have to say and are completely going to focus on the rip-off group, then there's not much we can do unless they decide to actually acknowledge what we're trying to do. So,
and if
entirely on them.
And if URM and Buns fully pull away from you, leaving TCO isolated in its own universe, what will you do?
TCU will still always be the official in its space. There's no contender. Doesn't really matter what happens at the end of the day. If they decide to do their own thing, then we'll have to do our own thing. That doesn't mean completely rewriting the law or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But obviously, we'll have to make revisions on what we want to do.
Right.
Just because Buns disappears, I understand Buns is obviously very important and whatnot, and a lot of people see that as the more authoritative figure in the space. But if they don't want to comply because of because they're allying with a group that's nuking the original and committing malicious intentions, then I'm not interested in having them associated with us.
Right.
So they can change their mind if they want to. That's fine. But it says a lot about them than it does us.
And in the case that Buns decides to fully pull away from you, what would you do? Would you make a new
Well, I explained it in my
nation sub?
answer. We'd have to revise it.
You'd
Or
make.
we'd probably have to make a new mission.
Mm.
It's not like we were planning to do that from the start, but it's not like we've been left with much of a choice.
Of course.
So if that's absolutely the worst case scenario that must happen, then yeah, sure.
And I guess my other thing was that surprisingly, quite a few people in the ripoff group are not condoning of raids and nuking as the leader is. So do you think TRCU is all bad, or is it just Void?
Not every single individual is going to be evil in a sense, but considering the owner is known for nuking the server and people are willingly compliant with that, it doesn't matter if people in there are saying that TRCU does not condone nuking. If the owner nukes it, it's detrimental, it completely it doesn't make sense. The owner says one thing whilst the community says the other thing. So, and I'd also like to say that Void is not interested in establishing peaceful negotiations, so that also says a lot about him. Not that we did anything at the start, but
Well, I guess his point of view to a degree would be the fact that, considering you, and I'm not saying
I understand his point of view completely. I understand his point of view completely, but the way he went about it is ridiculous.
And now, let's say,
and I'm not even just saying that on behalf of me. I'm saying that on behalf of everyone else that suffered for it, that were part of this community.
Let's say in a crazy scenario, right? None of these raids happened, right? The thing was that the free ranking, I think, is what set off a lot of people, because the ascension of what's the word? Dumbledore, your friend here. I think it ticked off a lot of people. I guess my question for that is, do you think you could have handled the transition any better?
The thing is that we explained exactly why Dumble was ranked what he was. Apparently, no matter what we said, nobody was going to listen. So the amount of times we tried de-escalating the situation thoroughly and clearly explaining exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it, nobody wanted to listen. So no, there wasn't anything we could have done better.
Right. And
in fact, what do you think we could have done better?
From a group leader myself point of view, I would have said that you could have started by removing everyone's perms before the announcement even released, making sure you had a full ownership before anything released and all perms were gone. You could have refrained from free ranking. I think there could have been an attempt made.
Well, it's not like Steve's trusted Void, and he says that we could use Void in the original development team for this, since I wasn't planning on bringing a lot of my own development team because we was going to trust the original TCU development team, and then they decided to completely go against it and just destroy everything that was worked towards in this community. So.
Then he must have blatantly lied to you, because in your position with the knowledge I have, I wouldn't have. Let's see. And
would I say that we wasn't properly informed? Yes.
Yeah. From a very high command point of view, we were not informed in the slightest of any of the doings of this deal.
Which I was not informed that you were not informed. Sev told me several times that he was speaking with his members of staff about this whole thing. So.
No, really? Did he say that? That's crazy to me, because the only mention we got of you was one, I don't know, a month before, saying that you had a shitty offer. Yeah, but I guess not then. I guess
clearly not.
Yeah. It's also just interesting to me that he said it wasn't about the money, because considering this is where TCU is falling, but I have confidence.
Think of it this way, right? Whether you believe it or not, I understand it was sudden. Yeah. I have full intention of making sure this group's successful and blah blah blah.
Of course.
Now, whether people are going to believe that Sev did this for the betterment of the group or not, believe what you want. I'm not going to try to force you to believe that I did this for you all, but from what he's told me and from my understanding, and in theory it's true, he did this because he knew we could fund the group far better than what he could and bring on a much better development team than what was originally possible. So I understand from a community perspective, just having sudden change in ownership feels like betrayal. and you have every right to feel angry. You have every right to feel, it's kind of neglected in a sense. I understand that, but the way it was sort of like retaliated against just doesn't. It's not exactly right, is it? And that's why this TRCU group will not last.
Really?
It will get taken down, or the community will realize that the situation was all wrong, and they'll come back regardless. It's inevitable. I'm not even saying this out of biasness. It's inevitable. So.
And so here's the thing. I was a big analyst for TCU before your ascension. The numbers was the fact that TRCU took around 89 to 96% of the active player base, that being divisionals, branch members, ministerials, and around 86% of Discord
Well,
population.
that's just for the Discord now, because the CCU has not dropped a single bit.
Of course. And
the activity they've got on has only been superior in Discord, but obviously that's quite obvious considering they've been the one that have been nuking. So it's common sense to realize that hopefully they would have a more active player base.
And
well, Discord.
And I guess my big thing is the fact that now you have a massive competency and deficit in competency. How will you fill the gaps left by the fact that now there are almost no competent sovereign native people of this group left?
Yeah. Well, ideally, before we were left with no choice, I was wanting to recruit internally. Well, not even recruit internally. I was perfectly happy with how the staff and everything was in terms of different divisions or whatnot. I was more than willing to give them a try. All I was going to do is just review them and see what the performance is like, if any were incompetent, etc. Which obviously now that a lot of them defected to TRCU and haven't even decided to put a single bit of faith into us no matter what, it's just come to the realization that either we're going to have to find individuals that are experiencing this to put into position, or have someone try vet and interview other people that we feel like we can trust, which Ken is currently sorting out all the divisional HRs and everything. He's interviewing a lot of people, the background checks, etc. And that'll be sorted from there. But in just relevancy to how we're going to sort out everything else regarding the Highcom that have left, etc. They've kind of just ruined it for themselves because they will be coming back eventually.
So, I don't know what Cryptics said. It's like I'm getting a lot of DMs too, so I'm trying to go through all of those as fast as I can. So I'm trying to vet everyone. I mean, if you got great experience, just DM me. I'll send me proof. I'll go through and have a sit down with me, text or VC, doesn't matter. I mean, it takes time. Right now, the OSHA applications to get events hosted, so nothing that'll be done by tomorrow. Then, I mean, if you guys saw what Critic posted, I'm also the guy doing the bots, so that'll be up and running shortly.
And Cryptic, for you, this question: have you ever bought groups before, or is this a first-time thing?
No, I bought TG and a few others before. And I've also got a few things outside of Roblox, but I'm just saying no one needs to know about that. But I know what I'm doing, mate. If the question is about competency.
Has any group behaved like this one has?
This is definitely the most, well, shall we say, least mature group. Not least mature in the facts of incompetence, but it's definitely less serious than most of the other groups, anyway. Obviously, the main group that I own right now is TGE. That's definitely more serious and whatnot, but this one's definitely a step back.
And did you account for that prior to the sale, or was that mostly absent from you?
Obviously, I wouldn't just bought a random group without doing any research.
And here's a big thing. I don't know. I heard some conflicting things about you breaking it off with them, but you are connected to NARS and Lancers, right?
I don't know who NARS is. If that's that Silliest Fear guy, I spoke to him once.
Okay.
And then I realized that he had a bad reputation, and then I left. And I deleted him from my friend list.
And Lancers, what's the if you don't mind elaborating, what is the connection with him?
Oh, it's fine. Lancers contacted me when, through TG essentially.
About one more time, say that.
and he was showing me around this.
Sorry, could you repeat the last sentence one more time? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, Lance has contacted me through TGE. That's where I met him originally, like
Mm.
recently anyway.
Ah, yes.
But that's literally it.
Because I guess the other thing that sparked Void's decision was the fact that you were in some form connected to the two of them, and he is as you've probably learned by now considered something of a Hitler sort to a degree. So I guess
The only thing I will say is, rather than just automatically assume I'm affiliated with them closely, why not try understand exactly what the relationship is? If that makes sense. Why would you just suddenly assume that somebody's close friends are actively involved with someone else?
And I think another part of that is the fact that Sevs did leak the original initial group chat with Lancers, Nars, and himself, which to a few government members, including myself, contained the details of the fact that Nars and him were orchestrating the sale, which no doubt sparked a few fears. And I think in the future, right, this is just a personal suggestion. Perhaps it would be, to some degree, what's the word? Advisable to release a few more details of the deal, because I feel like a few less people would have been as angry as they got had you clarified that Nars was not a close associate, because by the time the events of February 19th were in full swing, everyone believed you were a hardline Narza, right?
Yeah, but what was the evidence I was?
You had mutual friends with them, from what I recall.
Okay, and that's it. Nobody ever thought to question the meaning behind it.
No, not really.
That's what I think.
Right.
So just jump into conclusions, then, yeah.
Well, it's also that, and the fact that Sevs himself
funny.
definitely. Oh yeah, it is a little comical. It is.
I never said anything about the group chat because I didn't know exactly what Sev disclosed, and obviously it's private. So.
Yeah. I suppose that's a majority of my questions for you. How wonderful for us to have such a nice conversation. And I'll see you around.